Hey guys, welcome to another vlog. Today I'm going to talk about planning and how I planned my life up until where I left my business, and see, if things are going as planned or are they kind of deviating off plan a bit, and just to talk about the different phases that I've kind of wrote out for my life. So in total, I've got about 7 phases which run through 10 years of my life. So it's a 10-year plan in effect. Obviously, you can't really plan too much that far ahead, but at least if you have something to kind of aim for and something to think about, then you kind of know in which direction you're going. We'll start with phase 0, which is at the start of leaving my business. It was basically about sort of detaching myself from my baby in a way, and sort of like the feelings I had behind that, and knowing that I just had to push forward into a new life. So it was just discovering those whole feelings, those really like horrible feelings when you're leaving the business as well, planning where I want my life to go. So that was kind of what phase 0 was about. It was sort of understanding my emotions, my anxieties, how I'm thinking, what I want from life and stuff like that. Then we moved into, phase 1 up until the end of last year, which was all about healing and discovery. So the main focuses of phase 1 was basically understanding what all my anxieties were about, trying to conquer that, trying to conquer self-confidence, trying to find myself, the ability to sort of talk in front of a camera, post that out, leave the country, discover a new world, discover new countries, go explore and just really sort of enjoy, unwind and recover from burnout. It was something I did really learn from last year. It was that you need to just go hard at everything in life. If you're working, you go hard. But if you're resting, you're going hard at resting. And if you're playing hard as well. Everything you're doing, you do it to the max. And what I mean by that is that when you go on holiday, don't start thinking about work and stressing yourself about work. Go hard at enjoying yourself. Go hard at relaxing. Because there was massive parts of that time where I was just traveling different countries, exploring new things, but at the same time feeling really guilty in myself. And I was looking at that guilt and I was thinking, why am I feeling really bad that I'm not working, that I'm not doing something? This was sort of inbuilt inside me over so many years of doing 12-hour shifts at work and constantly working on the weekends and always thinking about work, and then to sort of just not have anything anymore was really strange for me. To then go from like 100 to kind of 0. I didn't have to do any work if I didn't want to. Those kind of emotions kind of in a way ruined my time. I couldn't fully enjoy maybe some of the places I was going to and some of the things I was going to, because I was always stressing about work and feeling guilty that I wasn't doing things that I shouldn't really feel guilty about. Because at the end of the day, if I ask anyone else, they would have said, Dushan, just enjoy yourself. This is a once in a lifetime experience to take that gap year out and just enjoy fully, just be present in what you're doing and what you're seeing and every experience that you're having, because you're learning a massive amount just by doing this. You may see it as a waste by taking a year out, but actually if you step away from work and you actually have that year out to sort of understand who you are, experience new cultures, experience new ways of life, then that can give you, 10 times more value than having that year carrying on working because you think you're being inefficient. It brings worlds to you having these experiences. So I go back to, did phase 1 go to plan? Was everything I wanted to do in that plan? And the answer is, no. There was a lot of things that changed during phase 1, and there's a lot of things that I had to put in there and change my goals as I was in that year. But there were some things that kind of stayed the same, which was good. But my whole life completely changed due to different circumstances, like meeting someone. Your whole life just totally changes at that point. In my head, when I first came to Croatia, I was thinking I'd be a digital nomad. I'd be traveling different countries. I'd be working remotely through my laptop, and I could then live 3 months in different countries and just continuously do that with my life. At that point, that's kind of what I wanted. And then, when you meet someone your priorities change again. You know, I've traveled many places, but after being so many places and having to unpack, pack, constantly being in different homes and never really feeling comfortable and never feeling, you know, like you're at home, that you can kind of just stay there, put your flag down and just build there, it kind of taught me in a way that actually maybe that life wasn't for me. And at least I kind of had a taste of it in some kind of aspect or another. That totally changed that scenario completely. What I really learned to be like incredibly important, having the right people around you is like such an important thing. And I really only have a very small community of people I really trust now, because life can kind of be like a train journey where, you know, a friend will jump on the train and you don't know if that friend or that person is going to stay on that train journey till the end. You know, they might stay on for a couple stops, they might stay on for, you know, half the journey, but you kind of got to understand that maybe sometimes people aren't on that train journey with you forever. And once you understand that like you shouldn't really revolve your life around other people. Focus on yourself, but still have this small community of friends that you rely on. You know, they can all have different attributes. You can't expect them to fulfill all your needs. Joe might be a good friend to talk about business, or Fred might be a good friend just to talk about relationships. This other best friend could be there, you know, for talking and stuff, but maybe they're not the most reliable. Or, you know, every friend has their own different unique ability, and you yourself aren't perfect, so don't expect someone else or your best friend or your friend to be perfect as well. For me, like, dealing with my expectations is a massive thing, because for me, I always thought about how I would necessarily treat people and I would expect the same in return, whereas life isn't like that. You know, the more you expect, the more you get disappointed, because you think that that person is going to reciprocate what you're giving to them. What I've learned is, whether it's family or friends, it doesn't always end up that way. Most of the time it doesn't. So you just need to remove that expectation from yourself. Once you remove that expectation, you can't get disappointed, because you understand that that person is that person, and you know, some people just don't change, but why do you expect that they will? So yeah, that was a massive lesson. I then started thinking, you know, I need a power circle. I need a power circle that I'm, you know, they can rely on me and I can rely on them. If not, they're just acquaintances, and you don't really need them fully in your life to waste so much time with. Anyway, that's how I look at it. This year I've also learned a ton of skills. I've learned how to film, I've learned how to edit, I've learned how to do, you know, design, graphic design work. I've learned how to build a website. I've learned how to make an e-commerce shop. I've also learned how to adapt fully living and, you know, with someone, to fully living with a child and growing with that person and enjoying and, you know, being present. Like, I've learned a ton of things, and it's great, and it's all sort of kind of happened in that phase. Having a year out as well really gives you the time to really just sit back, understand what you want from life, because generally when you're in the rush, the rat race, you generally don't really think about it too much, about what you really want in life. But to have that time away to explore, to think, you know, what kind of life is definitely going to suit you, what kind of country is somewhere that you really want to settle in, it kind of all comes together into one funnel, and it's a crazy experience. So right now I'm in phase 2 of my plan, which is all about a new way of life, dedicating myself to kind of one person, being married, maybe settling and finding my business that I can create, finding a stable base. I've been around different countries and I still feel like I really want to settle here in Croatia, and that's what I'm going to do. So it's all about building those kind of things, building relationship, building business, and building a stable base. Those are the main focuses of phase 2. Like I spoke about before, also building upon habits, as all my habits went out the window last year. You know, my sleep patterns were irregular. I was sleeping in, I was I was not having any structure to my day, whereas now I'm building upon that. Every day I'm getting up before 7, usually 6 o'clock, and it feels really good to have so much time before 12, and that you've done so much before 12. It's an absolutely great feeling. Building upon those habits and making myself into a better person day by day, which is what I'm focusing on now. So that's kind of like phase 2 explained in a small section, and kind of look forward to how that's all going to come together and see what the result is at the end of this year, which, it's all an exciting journey. And it does feel like I am biting off more than I can chew. And the strange thing is that I am at this moment taking on a lot more responsibility and stress than I was when I was in my business, but I don't feel as anxious. It's changed, which is strange, because I thought that with as much as I'm taking on now, I'd be an anxious mess. Don't get me wrong, I do wake up with anxiety sometimes, and I do have those times where I am stressed, but it is a lot less than it was before. And the focus has changed, because I feel like with anxiety, when it came to me, it all boiled down to one thing, and that was frustration. Frustration that I didn't have control. Can be different for everyone where anxiety comes from, but usually it probably does come down to frustrated with where you are right now, with what you're doing right now, with how your life is right now, and where you really want it to go, and whether you can actually deal with the things you're dealing with on a daily basis. I've learned a massive lesson from having a business previously, is that I don't think I would ever want a business again where I'm employing people. I would just want a business that was just for me, and that I'm just the sole person in that business. And you might say, oh, well, why is that? And it's just simple. Everyone is different. Some people aren't born to be entrepreneurs, and some people want to be entrepreneurs but just themselves, and some people are born to take on the world and build a business with 100 employees, or whatever. Like, it depends on your kind of stress threshold, how you cope with everything, how you deal with people, and whether you want to deal with that, and a chosen way of life as well. If you have a business with many people in it, it may look like all these people are rich and stuff, but they have no time. They literally have no time to do anything. And you've just got to weigh that up and decide whether that's the kind of life you want. Right, guys, that's kind of, in a nutshell, in a very kind of shortened version of my plans that were kind of created previously, and how they've kind of gone, and where I'm at the moment. And hope maybe you got a bit of value from this, and I will see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you very much. See you later.